hello out there in listening land. Welcome once again to Blind Dad Does. My name is Ira, and I hope that you guys are having a good evening, having a good day, having a good night, whatever the case may be, whatever it may be. Anyways, so we're going to do some painting tonight, as I am so wont to do, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the process. We're going to do some more of the radio show stuff, because, well, it's fun. It's nice and relaxing for me, and I don't have to worry too much about trying to do 5 billion things at once when it comes to the streaming stuff. And Jelena's here. It does say on the screen that she's resting, but she's resting, I guess, her brain while she tries to do her bullet journaling and stuff here. So anyways, we'll get to a story here. I think we're going to do one from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater called Speak of the Devil. It should be interesting. I have not heard this one before, but yeah, it seemed interesting, so I hope that you guys will enjoy it as well. So in the meantime, I love you all, and I hope that you're having a good evening. So I am here. Chat away.
Come in. Welcome. Welcome to Mystery Theater. I'm Hyman Brown. Welcome to the sounds of suspense, to the fear you can hear. Make yourself comfortable, for there are ill winds blowing outside. This is a tale of a titanic struggle between two colossal forces, one natural, the other supernatural. The prize, a girl's soul. And in the clash of fire and water, there is the very devil to pay. Come with me now to the faraway Firth in Scotland to meet the first of the forces.
It's the tide. It comes in faster than an express train.
Is it always like this?
Twice a day.
Doesn't it ever break?
It will when it gets just about abreast of us. Isn't it exciting?
That's one word for it.
That's why you don't dare go out on the flats on foot. If the tide was due, you'd never make it ashore.
Our mystery drama, Speak of the Devil, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Jada Rowland and Nick Pryor. I'll be back shortly with Act 1. They say he who dreams on the Solway will wake in another world. Not only is the tide a terror, but so are the quicksands, and far worse than either, the bogies, the warlocks, the unnamed things that haunt Scottish history. The Scots word for our story is eldritch. It means uncanny, eerie, frightful, otherworldly.
If you'll put out the light, Mrs. Petrie.
Hold my hand, Mike.
You'd better hold both mine.
Why?
You can't trust me in the dark.
I'm sorry, Colonel Bruce.
Now, Mike, Mary Ellen, I know you two young ones think a seance is a mite daft, but it's not the way the Colonel, Mrs. Petrie, and I feel.
Well, then maybe we'd better not stay.
Oh, no. We need 5 of the circle. It's a blessing you're here. But please, be serious. All of us have made contact with your dearest ones who have passed on through my control.
Control?
That's a messenger who brings us messages. Hanatu. He once was a slave in Babylon.
Babylon?
This is scary.
Hang in, darling.
Now, may we all join hands, please? I'm asking you not to break the chain of contact now. Clear your minds. Make them a blank. A quiet place. I'm reaching now. reaching away and above and out and over from here to the bonny, bonny other place that lies beyond our ken. We're biding here, Anatu, asking you back into our circle. Will you not come back to us again?
Most precious lady, from across centuries, the time is not right now. I beg you, Gishba is breathing fire tonight. Go, there is evil.
See that the humans remain entertained until the end.
Stop it, in heaven's name. Someone get the light.
Yes.
It burned.
Ellen, where's that damn light? Mary Ellen, are you all right?
Yes, sir. What's all that smoke?
Oh, that's just the incense we burn.
I'm the one to blame for meddling in the business of the Lord. We'll not ever have a seance in this house again. I'm afraid that I loosed some devil out of hell this night.
Ouch!
Oh, don't wriggle so much.
You stuck the pin in me, Aunt Jeannie.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ellen. Oh, but it'll take more than a pinprick to burst your happiness.
Thank you, Aunt Jeannie, for letting me come home to be married. And for such a heavenly day.
Oh, well, I'll accept the thanks for bidding you back to where you grew up.
When Dad died so suddenly, I was lost. I didn't know what to do.
Well, you did just the right thing. You came home. You're two modern young people who are a lot smarter than we old people are. And as proud I am to be part of the gamble you're making in your lives.
I am all goosebumps. I'll get back into my jeans and sweater. I've got a skin, just like I had last Wednesday night.
Don't mention it. I should never have had you children in that circle.
It was so scary. What happened?
I don't know.
It was some kind of trick, wasn't it?
I don't play tricks. Well, it was Maggie, your mother, who had the second sight, you know. That wee wisp, so delicate and so vibrant. When she died, it tore the heart out of me. But Will went off to America and left me to bring you up. Well, it put my heart back. And then when you were 15 and almost grown up and he wanted you to join him, I was left alone again. How could I stop you going?
I didn't want to go.
I know, but you were his flesh and blood. I found a way out of my loneliness. Nights when the roar of the tide used to come boiling up the firth outside the windows there, I thought I could hear Maggie calling to me. Or when the wind was skirling out of the northeast, I'd hear her voice on the wings of the blow. And I began to think maybe I had the call too. That's when I started the seances.
Until the other night.
Yes. I'll never hold a seance again. So the subject is closed. I realize I'm just a foolish old woman.
I've never been so scared.
Well, promise me to put it out of your mind. What's past is past. Your future is all that matters.
It seems so right to be back. As if something were calling me.
Oh, you're cold. I'll stir up the fire.
No, don't bother. I just miss my American central heating. I think I'll go outside in the sun for a minute or two.
Oh, go take a good brisk turn down the road while I finish this hem.
That's a good idea.
But don't go down the Firth road. Take the high road.
Why?
Well, I saw your Michael off this morning for the Solway. You don't want to run into the bridegroom on the wedding day. It's bad luck.
kiss me, Ellen?
Aunt Jeannie thinks it's bad luck for the bride and groom to see each other on the wedding day.
You can't fault that. Back in Nebraska, my mother used to feel the same way. But that's just old-fashioned.
And Aunt Jeannie something else?
Darling, your Aunt Jeannie sure is something else.
Good or bad?
About 90% good. I just don't dig the spirit kick.
We won't have any more of that. It was awful, though, wasn't it?
It's all kind of self-hypnosis.
With that terrible raspy voice. Whatever it was saying.
Ellen, there wasn't any voice.
You didn't hear it?
I heard something that sounded like your aunt choking herself to death.
But the first voice.
That's just the old girl practicing a little ventriloquism.
No. No, that awful burning smell.
Well, I will admit I like the Hare Krishna incense better. Come on, Ellen, let's forget all that mumbo-jumbo. Hey, dig that crazy character out there. Fishing in those little pools on the flats?
What's crazy about that?
On horseback?
But everyone does because of the tide.
The tide?
I forgot. If we hadn't been up in Glasgow wedding shopping, I'd have shown it to you. Look out there to the west. If that Gilly is up on his horse, it must be... Oh, yes, here it comes.
And there he goes. You'd think the devil was on his tail. What's his hurry?
Look, the tidal bore. It's coming.
You mean that big wave down at the mouth of the estuary?
Yes, it's the tide. It comes in faster than an express train. Listen.
Holy Maloney. Is it always like this?
Twice a day. Worse in the autumn and in the spring.
Doesn't it ever break?
It will when it gets just about abreast of us. Isn't it exciting?
That's one word for it.
That's why you don't dare go out on the flats on foot. If the tide was due, you'd never make it ashore. Oh, Michael, it's so thrilling and so good to be alive. I love you.
What'd you say?
I love you. Mike?
What, sir?
Husband?
Read that loud and clear. On my way.
What's taking you so long?
Just brushing my teeth.
Please come to bed.
Why didn't you say that in the first place?
Will you come under the covers? I'm freezing.
I'll put some more coal in the fire.
I don't want coal. I want my brand new husband.
You got him.
Oh.
What is it, darling?
Nothing. It's just that funny smell.
It's the coal smoke. Remember, you don't want coal to keep you warm. Just me.
Oh, my darling. Yes. 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 My husband. My darling. My husband. You. No. No. Please. No. No. Don't touch me. Go away. No. Oh, no. Michael. Your breath. Oh, the hair. Oh, no. No. I cast you out.
Michael, is there anything wrong?
No, Aunt Jeannie, why?
Well, I was dozing and I thought I heard... What's that I smell?
Is it your candle? Oh, I guess I let the fire go out.
Aye, it's a damp chimney, but just the same... Is Mary Ellen all right?
She's sound asleep. See for yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry to bother you, but...
What is it? What's troubling you?
I don't know. Maybe I was the one that dreamed it. Oh, be gentle with her, Michael. She's so sensitive and delicate. Like her mother that died all those years ago.
We'll keep her from any harm. Good night, Aunt Jeannie.
Oh, good night, Michael, dear. If we can. If it's in human hands to be able to. Snuff my candle out if you will, old Riki. But hear me this. You'll not have Mary Ellen. You'll not have her like my sister Maggie.
Old Reeky could be translated Old Smoky. It's another name for the devil. Jeannie should know better than to mention him, for the old proverb says, speak of the devil, and his horns appear. Let's see when Mystery Theater returns shortly with Act 2. Dreams are made to die with the opening of day, and superstition fades and falters in the sunlight. So by the following morning, we could hope our bride and bridegroom would wake and rise on the right side of the bed. Let's find out as Michael comes downstairs.
Oh, good morning, Michael. I'm in the kitchen. Come on out.
Morning, Aunt Jeannie.
Well, and how is the bridegroom today?
Well, the bridegroom's first rate. It's the bride who's not.
Oh, what's wrong with the wee lass?
Oh, I don't know. I think now you were right last night.
Huh? Right. About what?
Oh, she had some kind of a bad dream. But if she did, she won't tell me about it. What do you think it might have been?
Oh, I don't know. She's a sensitive wee thing. And she's back in the part of the house where her mother died. That was Maggie's room you're in. Maybe I should never have put you there. Anyway, I'll get her tea and go on up and have a wee chat.
And I couldn't tell Mike. I couldn't. Not after what my wedding night. How could I dream anything so vile and hideous? That great, gross presence bearing down on me. The breath so sick. The lips slavering. And that awful fur all over. Oh! And the fire burning me. That scorching smell. Oh, Aunt Jeannie. What a nightmare.
Oh, wished now. Then that's all it was.
But it seems so real.
Well, it wasn't. Because when I came by, you were sleeping sound. Oh, drink your tea now. Oh, it's a good thing you're married that nice American boy with his head screwed good and tight.
Mike.
He'll blow all the cobwebs out of your head. And he's going to have a good chance, too.
What do you mean?
I mean, you two are going to have a nice honeymoon all alone for a big, long month.
Where are you going?
Oh, I've got an old girls' school chum who lives just outside Blackpool at St. Anne-on-Sea. For years, she's wanted me to visit.
I'm not going to drive you out of your house.
Oh, you're going to do more than that, Mary Ellen. You and your handsome, bonny husband are going to move downstairs to my room, away from this drafty old flue. And while I'm gone, I'm going to get it fixed so the fire will burn clean.
But...
And I'll not take no for an answer.
I thought Scottish weather was supposed to be terrible. Rainy, damp, no sunshine.
This has been a very particular May.
Our honeymoon.
Yes. Sorry it's over?
Desolate.
Still, with Aunt Jeannie back, maybe you'll get a little more work done on the book.
Darling, I have been busy in research. It is a love story. Speaking of that, do you think...
Look down the road.
I can't. Your front's in the way.
That's Dr. Ferguson bringing Aunt Jeannie back. Our month is up.
Speaking of your front, do you know how you blossomed in the last 4 weeks?
All right, Playboy, let's concentrate on other physical problems. How do we get out of a hammock without breaking a limb? Welcome home, Aunt Jeannie.
Oh, Mary Ellen, precious. You've turned into a real Scots lassie. You've got the bloom on your cheeks.
It's happiness. And those warm spring winds from the west. Hello, Dr. Ferguson.
Hey, well, Mrs. Stilson. As a physician, I can only concur with your aunt's diagnosis. You're a picture of health. And how are you, Mr. Tilson?
Never better, sir.
Oh, I can believe that. Well, I really have to be back on rounds.
Thank you for meeting Aunt Jeannie at the station.
It should have been me.
Without a car? Oh, you'd have had hard shrift getting me aboard Old Bess since the carriage broke its wheel.
You know, Jeannie, you should put that old horse out to pasture now she's nothing left to pull.
Oh, I couldn't do that. We're too used to each other, poor old soul. All right, Dr. Ferguson. Away you go.
Right you are. See you soon.
I'll take your bags up to the house, Aunt Jeannie.
Oh, give me a hug first. That's right. Now, off you go. And me and Mary Ellen will have a week's chat on the way up to the house. Goodbye, Percy. Oh, I should never have said that. He hates the name.
I'm not sure I blame him.
Oh, well, that's not what's on my mind. How are you, dearie?
You can see for yourself. Oh, don't say anything to Mike yet. But I just have to tell someone. Aunt Jeannie, I know I'm pregnant.
Well, Mrs. Stilson.
Tell me, am I pregnant?
Oh, the tests will prove it, but I'll bet on it. And let me say that you're the loveliest expected mother I've ever had under my care. Well, a little morning sickness is to be expected in these early months. Still...
There's nothing wrong, Doctor.
A young, healthy woman, what could be wrong? Still, we must take precautions. I'm writing out some medication for you that I want you to take each day.
But what does Dr. Ferguson say is causing it?
It's nothing, dear. Just some little hitch.
Honey, we both had thorough physical checkups before we came to Scotland. The RH factor is ruled out. Why should you...
Lots of women have morning sickness.
It isn't only in the morning, Helen.
I'll talk to Dr. Ferguson. Maybe we should change the medication.
Mary Ellen, dear. I've talked to Dr. Ferguson, and he's completely puzzled. I'm not sure that I am, though. Is there anything you want to tell me?
What can I tell you, Aunt Jeannie, that I haven't told him?
Are you in pain?
I've talked to the doctor about that. It isn't pain. I don't know.
Ellen, are you dreaming again?
Of what?
Of the presents.
I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to sleep. Only I don't want to. I don't want to sleep at all. It's just that I'm so tired. So tired.
You have to help me, Aunt Jeannie.
How, Michael?
Dr. Ferguson says that physically Mellon should be all right. The baby seems to be thriving. It's her mental state that... Do you know she won't go to sleep at nights? She forces herself to stay awake? What is it she's afraid of dreaming about, Aunt Jeannie? It is that, isn't it?
I can't tell you just what she's dreaming. I'm too far out of touch since I went away. But I do know one thing. The only way to stop it is to get her away from here.
As easy as that?
Oh, not so easy, maybe. She's bound and determined on having you finish your book first.
Ah, the devil take the book. Mellon comes first.
You sure you don't mind, Michael?
I'm very sure. We're going home. To have your baby 3,000 miles away.
Oh, darling. I don't know what to say. It can't be too soon for me.
Well, it's sooner than you think. We're booked out of Glasgow tomorrow afternoon, home for America.
I don't know. I should be feeling all sorts of things, I know, but The only one I can really feel is relief. Oh, such blessed relief. Oh, for the first time, as long as I can remember, days, weeks, I just want to go to sleep.
Good night, darling. Rest. Sweet dreams.
You'll keep me safe. You won't let me come to any harm.
For better or worse, in sickness and in health, until death do us. Sleep, poor baby. Rest.
I love you, Michael. I love you. Keep our baby safe. Don't let...
Ellen, what is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's pain, like a knife. I think maybe I'm gonna lose the baby.
You're gonna be all right, Ellen. Don't worry.
Get Dr. Ferguson.
I'm gonna call him now. You'll be all right.
I'm fine. Just get him.
I'll send Aunt Jeannie up to you while I phone. Aunt Jeannie!
What is it? What is it, Michael?
Helen, maybe a miscarriage. What's Dr. Ferguson's number?
Oh, you'll no get him by the phone. He's out of order again.
Hello?
Laddie, it's no use. It won't be fixed before morning.
I'll go to the neighbors.
It's a party line. If one's out, they're all out.
Oh, God! How far to the doctors?
It's a good 3 miles.
Who's got a car?
Only Colonel Petrie. And he's away up to Edinburgh for his regimental reunion.
All right, then I'll go on foot. Aunt Jeannie, go up and help her. I'll make it as fast as I can.
By the wheel, Michael. Can you ride a horse?
Yes?
Good. Then take old Bessie. There's a bridle and saddle by her in the barn. She'll get you there faster.
Take care of her, Aunt Jeannie. Don't let anything happen to her.
Right along the Firth Road till you come to town. He's the 3rd house in on the right. And take care of yourself.
What's taking Michael so long?
Oh, just lie still. Don't bring back the pain.
It's funny. I thought it was going to tear me in two. And then within 10 minutes after Michael left the house, it just stopped suddenly. As if... What's that?
Oh, there's a car. That'll be the doctor. I'll let him in. Bide quiet now. Oh dear. Oh, come on in, Doctor. What took you so long?
Oh, I tried to phone you the moment I found out, and I got here as soon as...
Yes.
Oh, then you know.
Of course I know. Who do you think's been taking care of Mary Ellen? Now you get on up to her and... What? Where's Michael?
Oh, Jeannie, Michael is dead.
Dead? How?
Here, let me close the door.
Oh.
Was Michael riding to try to fetch me?
Of course. She thought she was losing the baby. What happened to him?
Bess must have thrown him.
Oh, she never threw a body in her life. She was as gentle as...
Something must have frightened her, driven her frantic. Jeannie, this is a terrible thing to tell you, but I examined the boy, and his body was covered with hoof marks. He was literally trampled to death.
So Ellen has kept her baby and lost her husband. Some evil force shadows this innocent and tragic girl and still may threaten her. Those hoof marks, were they from the horse or in some dark, unfathomable way, were they supernatural, a demon's footprint? Perhaps we'll know when Mystery Theater returns with Act 3. For 2 weeks, Ellen, after the first wild emotion when she heard of Mike's death, has retreated into herself, her face white and drawn, her eyes black and empty, like 2 holes burned in a blanket. Now, as the doctor comes down, after examining her...
How is she today, Doctor?
No change. Listless, unreachable, hopeless.
And her health. The baby.
The baby. There's no doubts of its vitality.
Oh, I have a terrible time getting her to eat anything.
Well, he must be more successful than you think, Jeannie. There's nothing the matter with Mary Ellen physically. No, it's her mental health that concerns me.
The poor bairn has been through a terrible shock, Percy.
Yeah, I know.
You don't think there is any chance of her losing her mind?
Jeannie, Mary Ellen is beyond me and my knowledge. Somehow we've got to call in a psychiatrist.
Oh, Percy, what is it you're afraid of for Mary Ellen?
Well, you don't like my medical terms.
I want to know.
Very well, then. Schizophrenia, more specifically dementia precox. Paranoid type, I guess.
Oh, well, what does all that mean?
Oh, withdrawal from life, delusions of all kinds, persecution, unseen enemies, that sort of thing.
Oh, the second sight. Just like all of us.
Now that's enough of that nonsense. You're all sensitive, delicately balanced women, but all things being equal, perfectly normal. Well, I have other calls to make.
Oh, well, I'll walk you to the door. Any instructions for Mary Ellen?
Oh, just that she keep on with the sedation I've provided. And Jeannie, try to persuade her to let me call in another doctor.
I'll see what's best to do.
Be very careful.
I'll do what's right.
Yeah, I think maybe tonight I'll take a run up to Glasgow and have a consultation with a friend of mine there, Dr. Engel. Good man. Maybe I could persuade him to run back down here with me just to observe her.
Oh, bide a wee till I see what I can do first, eh?
Yeah, all right. Another day or so can't do any harm. I hope.
Who is it?
It's Aunt Jeannie, Mary Ellen. May I come in?
If you want.
I thought you might like a wee cup of tea.
No, thanks.
What are you staring at? Out the window.
The tide just came in. Roaring and boiling. So fast. And now the water's all smooth. And with the sun on it, everything's wiped clean. I wonder if it heals as it washes over.
What are you thinking about, child?
I'm thinking about the first time I showed the tide to Michael. The day we were married. The day you said it was bad luck for us to see each other before the wedding.
Oh, I was just joking about superstitions. Nobody believes those old wives' tales.
Nobody believes so many things that are outside the ordinary. So many things they say don't exist but might be. Did you see Michael's body after?
What?
Did you see the marks of the hooves?
Oh, don't talk about that, lass.
I know they said the horse trampled him. I asked Dr. Ferguson about the hooves and he wouldn't tell me. You'd tell me, wouldn't you, Jeannie?
Oh, tell you what?
Were they like horseshoes? Or were they cleft in two? Were they cloven hooves?
In the name of God, what are you saying?
I'm not speaking of God. I'm speaking of the devil. Or some demon that haunts my dreams.
No, this is no time for foolish fancies. You mustn't let dreams spill over into your real life.
Or is it the other way around?
Oh, Mary Ellen, I don't know what it is you have on your mind, but...
You can get me to Michael. Let me talk to Michael. He'll know. He can tell me what to do. Take me to Michael and Jeannie. Take me to him.
Oh, can I, Mary Ellen? You know
I know he's dead. I know he's passed beyond. But you can reach him. You can hold a seance.
No. Oh, no. I swore I never would again after...
After what happened that night when something got loose? Some evil presence? Something from... Auntie, you let him loose. The least you can do is help me undo the harm.
I can't. I won't. I'll get the doctor.
You dare to bring him here and I'll kill myself. I swear it.
Child, you're out of your...
No. Not yet. But if you don't have that seance, And let me find out from Michael what to do. I will be. I'll lose my mind. You've got to promise. Promise.
Oh, calm down, child. Calm down.
Tonight. Now.
That isn't possible. There have to be more than two to form a circle.
Then call in the Colonel and that other woman, anyone. Just promise me. Promise. I need him. I need Michael. Promise, Aunt Jeannie, promise.
May God forgive me. I promise. May we all join hands, please. Clear your minds. Make them a blank, a quiet place, open and hushed. I'm reaching now, reaching away and above and out and over from here to the bonny, bonny other place that lies beyond our ken. Can you hear me, Anatu? Can you come to me into our circle? Anatu, we're reaching for you. Oh, I can't make contact.
Ask for Michael.
I have no way to him.
Then let me.
Oh, try it. Everyone, concentrate. Be still. Be still.
Michael. Michael, I need you. Come to me.
I'm here, darling.
Oh, Michael, I love you.
I love you. We'll be together again.
Michael.
It's not our child you're carrying. Get rid of it.
Michael!
It's no use, child. There's no contact tonight. We can break the ring. Will someone turn on the light, please? Oh, I'm that sorry, Mary Ellen.
It's all right, Aunt Jeannie. You gave me what I wanted. I found out what I needed to know.
Oh, I'm afraid that's quite impossible, my dear.
You're not as backward as that, Dr. Ferguson. Then help me.
I can't, dear. It's too late.
What do you mean, too late?
When you came to me a few weeks ago and we determined your pregnancy, you must have known that I would know it was already well advanced.
But it wasn't. Michael and I were only married a month before that. You should know that.
Well, of course I know that, my dear, but facts are facts. You're carrying a child that's past midterm, and abortion now is just too dangerous.
Past midterm. 4.5 months.
My guess is at least 5.
That fast? Oh, God, no. It mightn't wait. It could be born any minute. There's no one to help me but myself.
Well, I'll drive you home, child, and I'll give you something to get a little rest. She's sound asleep now, Jeannie. Let's go downstairs and talk.
Poor wee angel. So thin and pale and haunted.
Come away. Let her rest.
No. What you gave, you'll never take away. Never? It's never going to be. Help me. God, help me. The tide. Yes, that's the way. Full moon. The time was right.
And for our own protection, I see no other way, Jeannie.
But to lock her away,
Well, we're not locking her up. It's a sanitarium. It's a really lovely place.
I don't think I could do it to her. I'll care for her.
Jeannie, dear, if Ellen had preeclampsia or a threatened miscarriage or any one of a number of other diseases of pregnancy, she would have to be hospitalized. Now, think of it that way.
All right, Percy, if you think it's best.
It's the only way.
Oh, no, Doctor. Mine is the only way.
Oh, that sounded like the front door.
Ellen. Oh, I'll check upstairs. You look outside.
Oh, but I thought you said she... Oh, dear Lord. I got the premonition. Mary Ellen? Mary Ellen? Are you out there?
Jeannie, it's Mary. She's gone.
No.
I gave her enough sedation to knock her out, but she's gone.
Oh, but where?
She's out on the first. Come on, Jeannie. We've got to catch her before the time.
You'll never have him. He'll never be born. One way, you filth from hell. One thing you cannot stand against. The ancient enemy. Look, listen. Michael! I'm coming home!
There wasn't a chance. We couldn't have saved her.
My poor wee motherless lamb. It did not take her long to follow her poor husband. But the child...
It hadn't been born, and she didn't want it. It wasn't Michael's, you know.
Are you sure of that?
Oh, yes, it was 5 months old at least from the size.
A monster.
No, I didn't say that. Still, I was thinking of x-rays. There was something strange about that embryo. I can't quite explain.
It was nothing you could have understood, Doctor. So, at the last, it was all the Lord's will. And maybe for the best. At least, Michael and my Mary Ellen are in God's pocket. At last.
I'll be back in a moment with a final thought. Who dreams on the Solway will wake in another world. Our story has come full circle. For us, it's the end. Let's hope that for Ellen and Michael, it's only a beginning. If you believe some incubus possessed poor Ellen, driving her and her husband to their death, there's another explanation. Insanity did run in her family. So either way, even if there were the devil to pay, it was still all in the mind. Our cast included Jada Rowland, Nick Pryor, Bryna Rayburn, and Ian Martin. Associate Director, Marlon Swing. This is Hyman Brown, Producer-Director, inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, then, pleasant dreams.
Oh, the stories are so scary. I hope you guys are enjoying the stories so far. Hi, Robin. Hi, Liam. Hi, Ray. Hi, Belial. Hi, everybody. I hope that you guys are having a good night, a good time, and that you're feeling good. And if you're not, well, hopefully being here will help you feel a little bit better. So far, this picture is turning out really interesting. I'm kind of trying to develop it in a bit of a weird way, but we'll see what ends up happening as things go on. She's kind of interesting so far. I like the take on her maybe being a bit of a vampire or a white or something like that. I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that it kind of fits. Oh, you're going to pass out there, Robin. Okay, yeah, I get that for sure. Well, please rest well. Get some sleep. I hope that the smoke starts clearing up a little bit so that you can breathe a little bit easier. I'm sorry that it's being so rough on you today, but I love you, and I hope that you can get some rest. But we're going to get to some more stories. I'm going to just let it hit random, and we'll see what ends up happening. Who knows? I have like 3,000 hours worth of stories here, so who knows what it's going to hit. It's hard to tell. But I hope that you guys are enjoying it. I really like doing this kind of thing where I'm kind of playing the stories for you guys. It helps me relax a little bit. I like listening to them as I'm doing the drawings, and it kind of like helps to influence them a little bit, I think. Kind of makes them a little bit weirder and wilder and helps my imagination a little bit. But at the same time, it also helps me so that I don't have to like feel pressured to be on, For those of you guys that are streamers as well, you probably understand that there are times where you feel like, like you're not energetic enough, or like you don't, or like you're trying to like project and it's fake and that kind of thing. I don't want to be that way. So instead of trying to pretend being on when I'm feeling a little bit lousy and a little bit non-energetic, being able to play the stories, I think, is helpful for it. So anyways, yeah, we'll get back to another story here, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. And I love y'all. Have fun with it. Let's see what happens here. Oh, the secret book.
Hurry it up. You've been 40 minutes on that thing.
It's coming now. There.
Oh, this one's one where it's like hitting halfway through. Let's try a different one. Let's find a different one here.
Good evening, creep, and welcome to the Mystery Playhouse. As a return engagement, your Mystery Playhouse brings you tonight a story by one of the great authors of crime fiction, Agatha Christie. This ingenious drama, entitled Witness for the Prosecution, is one of the prolific Miss Christie's very best. Miss Leslie Wood, star of the recent Broadway play The Assassin, will play the leading role. Witness for the Prosecution.
Okay, the quality on that one's a little bit bad. I'm going to go ahead and like delete that one off the list just so that it doesn't hit it again. But yeah, the quality on that one's a little rough. I mean, it happens. A lot of these things are from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and so it's not always going to be up to CD quality, for modern technology and that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's try a different one.
The Planet Man. Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro the Planet Man fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. As you know, Dantro the Planet Man and Pat are hurrying through the unknown tunnel of an ancient race that leads back toward the palace of Marston of Mars, where the two Earth children, Billy and Jane, and Slats, their friend, are in the power of the evil Marston, pawns in his plan to conquer the Earth and plunge the League of Planets into war. Now on Planaria Rex, capital of the League of Planets, Judge Augustus is pleading with the representatives of the other planets to wait.
We have not had war between the planets in over 500 centuries. You know what it will mean. No matter who wins, the solar system will be thrown back 1,000 years. Millions will perish. Let us not strike at Mars until we have exhausted every other means of stopping Marston.
Venus will not stand by idly while Mars gets so strong that Marston can make our people his slaves. Venus says strike! Strike while his feet is on the ground! Strike now!
Professor Darrow, we must do something. They're getting angry and they'll not listen. Try. Gentlemen! Professor Darrow of Earth, whom you have all learned to admire, asks that you listen to it.
Representatives of the League of Planets, I am new among you, but we unearth no war, perhaps than you who have not seen it in your lifetime. As Judge Augustus says, no one really can win. Yet it may be necessary to strike, but only if all else fails. We have almost 10 hours before the deadline Marston himself has set. Let us at least wait 8 hours before we throw the solar system into chaos.
One question, please. How do we know Marston will wait? This may be just a trick to lull our suspicions, even though he may be preparing to strike at Earth.
We have the cosmic communicator. And we are watching Marston and his fleet. Let us watch it and hold our fleet in readiness 5 million miles in space from Mars. If one ship takes off, we can strike in minutes. Gentlemen, Earth is my home. I have the most to lose. I beg of you, give us 8 hours. Just 8 hours.
Venus says let's listen to Professor Darrow of Earth, for his counsel is wise. Let's wait and watch.
Very well, then. 8 hours from now, if the situation has not changed, we strike. Commander, order the space fleet of the League of Planets to rendezvous 5 million miles from Mars and be ready to strike at a moment's notice. Come, Professor Darrow. Let us go to my office where we can talk.
It can't be much further, Pat. Unless I miss my guess, we should be on the outskirts of Marston's palace clearing by now.
What's that up ahead? Looks like the end of the tunnel. It's a blank wall. Dantro, we're trapped.
Don't get excited, Pat. Look over there to the left. See that outline? It's a door.
Oh, thank goodness. Can you open it?
There must be a lever hidden somewhere here. Wait. Here, you see this raised block? Watch what happens when I push it.
What? But the wall, it's opening. No, it's disappearing.
That's right. It wasn't really rock like the rest. It was a force field. A method of turning the atoms of the air into solid matter. Well, I'll explain it to you later. We have no time to waste.
What are we going to do?
I don't know yet, but we have to go on and hope for the best. Come on, up this way.
Listen. Hey, you. Hey, guard.
Quiet. Earth dog.
Never mind the compliments. How much longer am I going to have to be in this hole? It's damp and my corns are killing me.
You should be grateful for every minute you spend in that dungeon. When the word comes to open the door, it'll mean the end of your miserable life. I have orders to take you to the field where the fleet is gathered and kill you in sight of the men as an example of how they're to treat any Earthman who tries to resist Marston's rule.
That's nice. Thanks for the tip.
There's the signal.
All right, I'm coming. Don't push. I told you my feet hurt.
Don't worry. In a few moments, they'll stop hurting. Forever.
We've been climbing steadily. Must be an opening into the palace along here somewhere.
I just hope we don't come out in the middle of Marston's throne room. Say, I wonder what happened to Slats. Do you think Marston found out it was he who helped us escape?
I hope not. Wouldn't be pleasant. But Slats is smart. I'm sure he's safe somewhere. Here, stop. This looks like a panel in the wall.
Can you get it open?
Yes, this is the work of the underground. It just slides up, see?
Be careful. What's outside?
Oh, it's all right. It's just a passageway somewhere in the palace. From the moisture on the walls, I'd say it's down in the dungeon somewhere.
Get back in here. Someone's coming. Hear them?
Yes, you're right. Wait, we'll leave the panel open just a crack. Maybe we'll be able to see who it is.
Slats and a guard. They must have gotten wise. What are they going to do to him?
I'm not going to wait to find out. Maybe we can knock out the guard and free Slats. It's a long chance, but if you're game, we'll try it.
You know better than to even ask me. Be careful, though. That guard has a ray gun.
Don't worry. I'll be careful. Here they come. I'll wait till they get by and then come up behind them.
Now, Dantro. Now!
Hey, what's going on here? What? Dantro, where'd you come from?
Never mind that now. Get in here quickly. Pat, close the panel.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you'd both gone. Where you been? How'd you get here?
All that later, Slats. What's been happening? Was Marston's fleet taken off yet? Has the war begun? Have you heard from Judge Augustus?
Now you're doing it. Give me a chance. One question at a time.
It appears that things might take a turn for the better now that Slats, Pat, and Dancho are together. What will be their next move? We'll be back in a moment. So level up. When we left Dancho, Pat, and Slats, they were together in a secret passageway under Marston's palace, where they were discussing their next possible move so that they could free Billy and Jane and thwart Marston's plan to conquer Earth. We find them now as Slats is being questioned by Dancho in an effort to understand what has happened since he and Pat escaped from Marston. Slats is speaking.
Kids are in an old storeroom on the level above us. Marston's given the professor 24 hours to join him, and it looks like interplanetary war is inevitable.
24 hours. How long ago was that?
I'm not sure. They took my chronometer. I'd say about 18 hours. Why?
Oh, Slats, how can you ask a question like that? Dantro, we have to do something.
First thing we have to do is to try to free those kids. Let's go.
It's right along here somewhere. They haven't bothered to post a guard. They think the kids are nothing to worry about. They don't know them as well as I do.
Hurry, Slats.
Yeah, I'm hurrying. I don't want to open the wrong door and walk in on Marston's war council. Not yet, anyway. Wait a minute. Here it is. Quiet now. There. That does it.
Billy? Jane? Here, it's Pat.
Well, they're gone. Marston must have moved them somewhere else. If he's harmed those kids, I'll stick that ugly flying cobra down his throat.
We can't stay here and talk about it. Someone will come along this corridor any second. Come on.
Where are we going?
Back to the secret panel.
What good will that do? Let's hunt that Marston down and make him tell us where those kids are.
I know how you feel, Slats, but there's more at stake than the safety of Billy and Jane. We won't do any good if we get caught or killed trying to help them. Let's get back to the secret passage. We'll stop Marston somehow.
6 hours. No, it's 4 hours. We must strike 2 hours before Marston's deadline. That was the understanding. Have you thought of anything?
I have an idea, but I'm afraid you wouldn't like it.
What is it?
Suppose I pretend to go over to Marston. Let him think I've joined forces with him.
What good will that do?
It will gain us time. Then maybe if I am close to him, I can contact Dantro, Pat, or Slats and somehow stop him. At least it means the kids will be safe for a little while.
No, I cannot permit it. With you on our side, at least we have someone who, if necessary, can rally the Earth's people to battle. Someone they know and trust. Without you, they would be confused between our world and Marston's. You must not risk your life even to save those you love. Remember, a whole solar system hangs in the balance. Millions of lives against theirs. It's a difficult choice. But you must see your duty.
Yes, you're right. But it's so awful to sit here helpless while the minutes tick away and absolute destruction comes closer and closer.
Time is running out for the solar system. War seems to be upon it. Can Dantro plan any move that will stop Marston at this late hour? And what has happened to Billy and Jane? We'll be back in a moment. But first, here is a message the Planet Man wants you to hear. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventure. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man.
The makers of X-Lax present Strange as It Seems. Strange but true stories from people in every walk of life, with the whole world as our stage. Time, the present, or the past. Brought to you by X-Lax, the original chocolated laxative. Now, the chances are that you, like millions of others, know and use X-Lax. You know how mild, how gentle, how effective it is. But haven't you noticed that X-Lax has another unusual quality? Of course you have. X-Lax is a correctly timed laxative. It won't shock your system or throw it out of rhythm. It's just right. A perfect combination of mildness, thoroughness, and correct timing. It's delightful to take, too, just like delicious chocolate. So, get a box today to have on hand the very next time you or any member of your family needs a laxative. It's only 10 cents at any drugstore.
The man whom fate could not conquer. (1932). A service station on the Evergreen Highway in Vancouver, Washington. It is early one morning. Dawn is just breaking.
Yes? Shall I fill her up?
No, stick 'em up.
What? Say, you aren't going
You
to...
sure are. Stand right there and don't make a move. I'm going to look through your cash.
But there's hardly any money in the till. Don't take it.
Shut up.
Put down that gun, you.
Hey, here. Will. Huh? Sock him when he's got my gun. Okay, this'll hold him. Come on. Get in, you dope. Let's get going.
Yeah. No time to lose.
Someone must have heard all this. You needn't have hit him with that iron pipe. You may have killed the old guy.
(1935). The same service station. A car drives up and comes to a stop.
Hello, anybody around?
Just a minute. I'll be right with you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to keep you waiting, mister, but I can't hurry too fast. I might trip on something.
Oh, that's all right. Say, why are you holding on to that wire?
Oh, I have to guide myself from my house up to the station. You see, I'm blind.
Oh, I didn't realize
Oh, no need to be embarrassed, young fella. I ain't.
Oh, here, let me help.
Just a minute. Got to see the pumps full first. Now, if you just put the hose into your gas tank, I haven't learned to do that yet. Might scratch your car.
All right.
How many gallons you want?
Oh, 5.
All right. Now look on the pump and tell me when it reaches that figure.
Okay. All right, stop her.
Okay.
You said you hadn't learned to do this yet. Does that mean you haven't always been blind?
I was all right until 3 years ago. Some fellas come in here early one morning and held me up. I tried to stop 'em, but they knocked me down and bashed in my head. Next day, my wife told me I'd never see again.
The dirty swine. An old man like you.
It was kind of hard to take at first, but I decided I'd just have to get used to it.
I don't see how you had the courage to go on.
Well, it was a case of my wife and I going on charity or keeping on with the station. Well, how about some oil? Water?
No, thanks. Oh, I only have scrip. Will you take that?
Sure. Just a minute. Got to refill the pump. That's the only way I can be sure a customer knows how much he's getting.
Here's your scrip.
Yeah, thanks.
Say, aren't you afraid I might have shortchanged you?
No.
And how about the gas? I might have gotten 7 or 8 gallons instead of 5.
I'm not worried, young fella.
But if I should give you money, how would you make change?
Oh, I keep all the different kinds of money in different pockets. It's easy when you learn how.
But I don't see how
Before I was blinded, I had plenty of people to try to do me out of money. I've never had a customer cheat me since then.
Let me shake hands with you, sir. You're a lesson to all of us.
Thanks. Come in again.
Yes, I'll do that.
Goodbye, and good luck.
Strange as it seems, J.W. Tilden, a gasoline service station operator in the state of Washington, actually continues to operate his station, although blinded for 3 years. What a wonderful example of faith and courage in the face of adversity. Black Death. Plo, France. A terrific thunderstorm is raging. Within a thatched hut, 2 peasants are trying to keep warm before the fire. Not far from the hut is a fold crowded with black and white sheep. The terrified animals huddle together, bleating piteously.
Father in heaven is angry today.
Ah, yes. All around us, lightning and thunder. Will it ever end? Mon Dieu. Listen to that.
Oh, the poor sheep. At least we know what it is.
Does not make me less frightened to know what it is. Jean, look out the window. It struck the sheepfold.
Oh.
I'm going out.
Oh, no, please. It might strike you.
I must go.
Oh, Pierre. Oh, mon Dieu, he will be killed. I'm going with him. Pierre, I'm coming too.
Jean, come here. Come to the sheep field.
I'm coming, Pierre. I'm coming. Oh, here you are. Oh, I was afraid something terrible had happened.
Something has happened. Look.
Oh, Pierre, the black sheep lie dead, but the white ones are still alive.
The lightning killed only the black sheep.
Oh, Pierre, what does it mean?
I do not know. To pick out only the black sheep. The devil himself must be riding in the storm.
Pray, Pierre, pray.
Strange as it seems, a bolt of lightning at Plo, France, actually did pick out the black sheep and killed every one. No one knows what queer tricks lightning may play. Its movements cannot be understood thoroughly, even by scientists. The Herald of the Skies. November 30th, 1835. In a rickety one-story house in Florida, Missouri, a man is pacing back and forth, watching the closed door of the bedroom.
Mr. Clemens, you are now the father of a son.
A son? Doctor, is she all right?
Oh, yes. Jenny's waiting for you.
All right, Doctor. Jenny.
Is that you, John?
Yes. Jenny, are you all right?
Yes, John. Look.
By golly.
Oh, look. He's got your hands.
Do you call those little things hands? Oh, Jenny, my dear.
Oh, why, John, you mustn't cry. Oh, that's the doctor. Come in.
Oh, Mrs. Clemens, I want you to see something out the window.
What is it?
Look, up in the sky.
Why, John, look. It's a comet.
It's Halley's comet. I'd forgotten we could see it this morning.
Jenny, that comet in the sky means something.
Maybe it means your son will be a big man someday.
Yes, that's what it means. Why, we'll be proud of... Say, what is his name anyway?
Samuel.
Sammy? And the middle name better be Langhorne, after the folks.
Oh, that's a good name for a boy. Samuel Langhorne Clemens.
When Sam grows to be a man, he takes the pen name of Mark Twain, meaning 2 fathoms or 12 feet. He chooses it from his steamboat days on the Mississippi. He once said of his name, "It was always a pleasant sound for a pilot to hear on a dark night. It meant safe water." And so the little boy who was ushered into the world by Halley's Comet becomes a great man. His books, Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, are universally read. The world does him homage. (1909). After a brimming life of 74 years, the old machine shows signs of wearing out. One day, Mark Twain delivers a talk on astronomy.
Yes, it's true. I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It's coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it. It will be the greatest disappointment of my life if I don't go out with Halley's Comet. The Almighty said, no doubt, "Now, here are these 2 unaccountable freaks. They came in together, they must go out together."
Wednesday night, April 20th, 1910. Mark Twain's close friend, Albert Bigelow Paine, stands at the bedside of the great humorist. The wonderful old man is asleep.
It won't be much longer, Doctor.
No, Mr. Payne.
Halley's Comet shone so brilliantly last night. It reminded me of Mark. He talked a lot about that comet.
Yes. Today it reached its nearest point to the sun. Tomorrow it starts on its way back into the unknown.
Look, Doctor. The sun has just touched the horizon.
Mr. Payne, Mark turned his head a little. Wait. He is gone.
And Halley's Comet is starting on its great journey into space. Mark won't be lonely, Doctor.
I must imply
They're going
in at least a dream
together.
or in an alley end. Whether off the trend, every place they go. Gotta get sticky tape a-rollin', sneezing, wheezing, white dander high and low, making a chore. Oh my, so displeasing. It seems so embarrassing, visitors immediately becoming part of.
Well, hello, everybody.
Look at that screaming. Yep. Seagull speaks for all of us.
The seagull does indeed speak for all of us. Hey, Angel. Hey, everybody. Welcome on in. My name is Ira, and I hope that you guys are having a good night. I'm sure that Angel took good care of you while she had you in her clutches, so to speak. My thing tonight basically is I'm not doing a camera, and I'm not talking a whole lot because my voice is a little tired. I'm a little bit edgy, a little bit out of it, I guess you could say, but I still wanted to do art and I still wanted to do streaming. So we're listening to some old time radio shows and that kind of stuff. And it's been pretty interesting and fun so far, I think. And hopefully you guys out there who have been listening so far have been enjoying it as well. But this is what I'm working on right now. This little lady decided to show up out of nowhere for me, I guess. And for those of you guys that are brand new to my channel, welcome on in. I'm so glad to have you. Much love to all of you. I am a blind guy. I do try to do painting even though I am blind. It does take me some time to get things going and get things working, as you can probably well imagine. But I still enjoy doing it. I still like to try my best and see what I can get to come out. And if you want to see some of the other things that I've done, up in the top left corner of the screen, you'll see some of the other paintings that I've managed to do. Most of them somewhat recently. I've taken out some of the old ones from showing up, but yeah. So hopefully yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, hello. Hello, Lillian. Thank you so much for the absolute scare fest, indeed. But yeah, so lurk away, Angel, and thank you so much again for bringing everybody on in. And I'm glad to have you be here with us tonight. So, Lillian, love you. Anyway, so we'll get back to some more stories, and again, hopefully you guys will be patient with my slowness when it comes to doing the painting. My eyes are a bit buggy tonight, as you can probably well imagine. This is not the easiest thing to do, but I still enjoy doing it. So yeah, we'll get back to a story. I'm just gonna hit one at random. I've got about 3,000 hours worth of stories here on the computer that we can make use of. So we'll hit something at random. We'll see what ends up popping out. Hopefully it'll be a good story for all of you.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the sound of suspense. Welcome to the fear you can hear. But mostly to the world of terrifying imagination. In the next 52 minutes, you'll hear a story about truth. Everyone is in favor of truth, of course. It's a word which produces immediate reverence and respect. But sometimes the truth can be a terrible thing, even a shattering thing.
Oh, my God! Mark, you hit a woman! Oh, I told you not to drive so fast!
I didn't see her. I didn't see her crossing the road.
Is she alive? Oh, Mark, look at the way she's lying there!
Lorna, she must be dead. Lorna, you mustn't tell anyone. Please, you mustn't tell anyone.
Our mystery drama, The Ring of Truth, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Henry Slessor and stars Agnes Moorehead. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Some beer drinkers have funny ideas about beer. They think beer improves with age, like wine. Well, find a brewmaster, though. You'll find a beer drinker who knows better. The Budweiser brewmaster says it all depends on how beer is aged. Just letting beer sit in lagering tanks makes it older, not necessarily better. That even goes for keeping a case around the house for a couple of months. But there is one kind of aging that's good for beer. The Budweiser kind. Beechwood aging. In this kind of aging, something happens. It lets all the flavor of the choicest hops and best barley malt that go into Budweiser get through to you. Sure, it takes more time and trouble to brew Budweiser that way, but brewing beer right does make a difference. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Hey, Ma, what's for dinner?
ShopRite has a beautiful buy to help you serve dinner. Fine imported porcelain china. The beautifully crafted Lovelace pattern by Crown Victoria. An elegant white-on-white platinum-banded pattern to complement any table. Now available only at ShopRite. The basic place-setting pieces, dinner plate, cup and saucer, dessert plate, and bread and butter plate, are just 39 cents. 39 cents each with every $3 purchase. A different place-setting piece is featured each week at this special price. You'll want to collect all the magnificent completer pieces and matching ovenware available every week at low prices, too. Visit ShopRite and start your set of lovely porcelain china today. It's a beautiful buy.
Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
Offer not available in Westchester, Ulster, Orange, Dutchess, and Columbia counties.
Now here's Act One of The Ring of Truth. The place, a charming college town in New England. The people you're about to meet, young Lorna Kittredge and the special man in her life, Mark Kramer. His driving speed, a comfortable 30 miles an hour.
I'll tell you what I resent most about your father, Lorna. It's the fact that he deliberately keeps forgetting my name.
Mark, don't be so silly. Daddy has a genuine problem about names.
No, I'm sorry, darling. I just can't buy this absent-minded professor stuff. It's too corny.
Corny or not, that's exactly what my father is sometimes. Absent-minded. His mind is always up in the stratosphere somewhere, communing with Socrates or Schopenhauer on the meaning of truth. You just don't like my father very much.
I hardly know your father. Look, I want to get along with him, Lorna. After all, he's going to be my father-in-law, isn't he?
You're almost home. What can I do to put you in a better mood?
That's easy, darling. You can promise to tell him tonight.
Oh, Mark. Tonight?
Why not?
But I told you that the Pryors are going to be at dinner tonight. Harold Pryor's Daddy's publisher.
So, after they leave, you can tell him. Lorna, we've been engaged for almost 3 weeks now. Nobody knows about it except you and me.
Well, isn't that enough?
Not for me, it isn't. No. I'm the kind of guy who wants to shout it from the housetops.
Yes, I do, too. I really do, Mark. I love you so much.
All right, darling. Then prove it. Tell him tonight, Lorna. Tell him you're going to marry what's-his-name.
How do you think I'm right? You're quite right, Harold. What the book needs is a much sexier title.
Well, of course, there isn't a word about sex in it, but what's the difference as long as it sells, huh?
What's the latest book about?
Why, truth, of course.
Daddy's favorite subject.
Should be everyone's favorite subject, in my opinion.
You know, if you really want a suggestion for a new title, Professor, I think I have one.
Do you, Mac?
Daddy, the name is Mark.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry, Mark. Well, go on. Let's hear your suggestion.
Why not call it The Ring of Truth?
Well, I think that's a very good name, but, of course, that's up to Professor Kittredge.
It's not a bad title, Mark, but, well, it does imply a lack of sincerity, doesn't it? The Ring of Truth is only the surface appearance of it. What I'm examining in my book is the necessity for stark truth, for truth unafraid.
Of course, there's a fairly good argument against stark truth sometimes, isn't there? I mean, there's still a necessity for a white lie now and then.
You mean in the real estate business, perhaps?
No, not just in my business, in everyone's. I mean, there are times when tact, courtesy, and general goodwill call for a shading of the truth.
May I make a suggestion, everyone? Why don't we have our coffee in the living room?
It's a good idea, darling.
No, George, I wanted to...
I'll give you a hand with the dishes, honey. Besides, I'd like a little conversation with you in the kitchen.
All right, Mark. I know what you're going to say. Daddy was impossible tonight.
Now, your father's a great scholar, man of ideals, the Albert Schweitzer of New England. I'm only a poor schnook of a real estate man, but I'm perfectly willing to put up with him for your sake.
Put up with him?
Won't be easy. A crass, materialistic guy like me marrying into all that saintliness. What can I do? I'm crazy about his daughter.
You idiot. Oh, Mark, my hands are wet.
Will you tell him tonight?
Yes, the minute everyone leaves.
He's not going to be happy about it, you know that. He won't be happy about losing you.
Well, he knew it had to happen someday.
All right, then tell him that day has come. Tell him the truth.
I always tell Daddy the truth. Daddy, can I come in?
Yes, darling, of course.
I didn't want to interrupt your reading.
Oh, I can't really read this book. I don't understand the language. Have you seen it, by the way?
Hmm?
Still another edition, German, of the 7 Secrets of Shakespeare.
It's lovely. What a beautiful binding.
Yes, I'm pleased with it. I suppose an author never loses his affection for the first book he writes.
Well, it's more than just that. This book made you famous.
In very limited circles, yes. And I hope you've enjoyed the evening and that your friend did, too.
The only thing Mark didn't like was being called Max.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Precious. I hope he wasn't offended. But you have to admit that you do bring home a lot of young men.
Daddy, that may have been true once, but Mark Kramer is the only man I've seen for the last 6 months.
That long?
And the reason I've seen him so much is that, well, I'm in love with him.
Well, that isn't an entirely new phenomenon either, is it?
Daddy, Mark asked me to marry him. I said yes.
Marriage?
You know that word, don't you? It's English, not German.
Yes, I know the word, but, well, it's just that I never supposed you'd want to marry now. I mean, before your doctorate, before you've done all those things we plan to do together.
Marriage wouldn't put an end to our plans. And as for your lecture tour, well, you don't really need me along.
I don't know if I'd want to go without you. I'm getting a little old to gallivant around Europe by myself.
Well, it's the first time I've heard you complain about being old.
For some reason, the last 10 seconds, I began to feel old.
Of course, Mark and I could go with you to Europe as a sort of honeymoon.
No, Lorna, he's not going to want that, I'm sure. In fact, my guess is that your young man is going to want to see as little of me as he possibly can.
No, Daddy, that isn't so. He knows that I won't just abandon you. I couldn't be that heartless.
That's the last word I'd use about you, Precious. I know your heart only too well. I know what a tender, beating little thing it is. I've always been afraid of the man who would trap it someday.
I just wish you knew Mark better. He's not a
I'm not
star-
saying anything against Mark. I feel this way about any man. I'm like the tired old king of the fairy tale, darling, forced by the condition of kingdom to give the hand of his princess to a commoner.
Oh, Daddy. Mark, you're just being pig-headed. It won't even be 6 months. And by that time, I'll have my doctorate, and Daddy's lecture tour will be over.
Oh, that's great. Just great. Waiter, where's the drink I ordered?
Mark, I've never seen you have more than 2 martinis in my life.
Oh, you're wrong, my love. I had one before you got here. The one coming up will be number 4.
Mark, please, don't be so upset. I'm not breaking our engagement. I'm simply asking for a postponement.
How long did it take to talk you into it, Lorna?
Well, it was something I decided to do, Mark. All by myself.
Because you realized how important it was? To get your Ph.D.? To make sure Daddy was taken care of on his lecture tour?
But it is important to me.
You know, you're a lucky girl to have a father like that. Now, you take my old man. Good old Charlie Kramer. Real estate. I don't think he ever heard of an ethic or an ideal in his life. Probably told a dozen lies a day, old Charlie. I guess that's why he turned out so badly.
You're drinking too much. You always do when you're angry.
Just another flaw in my character. Hardly noticeable in the general ruin of my personality.
Please, Mark, I don't want you to be drunk to drive me home.
Oh, don't worry. I won't even have that 4th drink. See what a nice guy I am? I want to make sure you get home to Daddy safe and sound.
Mark, are you sure you don't want me to drive?
No, you just leave the driving to us.
It's starting to rain. I think you should turn your wipers on.
That isn't rain, Precious. Those are tears in front of your eyes.
Please, Mark.
All right, all right.
You have to drive so fast. I know there isn't any traffic, but these roads are so dark.
That's what the headlights are for. How far these little candles throw their beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world. Hey, you see, your father isn't the only one who can quote shit. What?
Look out! That woman!
Where?
Oh! You hit her! Oh, Lord!
I didn't see her. I didn't see her crossing the road, so help me.
Is she dead? Oh, Mark, look at the way she's lying there.
She's dead, Lorna.
Oh.
The woman's dead.
Oh, no. Oh, how horrible. I told you not to drive so fast. Oh, Daddy, it was so awful. And it was my fault. My fault that Mark drank so much. He really doesn't like whiskey very much, but when I told him about what we decided about postponing the wedding...
You mean what you decided, darling? It was your decision.
He was driving so recklessly. He must have been going 60 miles an hour on that road. The speed limit there was only about 30.
They haven't arrested him, have they?
No.
But the police were called, weren't they?
Yes. They know Mark, of course. He's lived here all his life.
Didn't they give Mark a sobriety test?
No, nobody even suggested it. I mean, Mark didn't seem to be drunk at all. Not after it.
And of course, he didn't say he'd been drinking. Didn't mention the speed he was traveling at.
Well, they asked him. Mark said he was going 35, and the woman just stepped out in front of him.
I see.
He had to say it, Daddy. I mean, otherwise it would have been a crime, wouldn't it?
I think it's called vehicular homicide.
Well, he could go to prison for that, couldn't he?
Perhaps.
Oh, Daddy.
Donna, what did you say?
What?
What did you tell them when the police talked to you about the accident?
They didn't. They didn't ask me anything. They said there would be an inquest to determine the facts. I suppose I'd have to answer questions then.
And what will you say then?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I have to corroborate Mark's story, of course.
Is that what you're going to do?
Oh, well, if you could have seen his face, Daddy, it was like a child. Like a little boy, afraid to be punished. He said, "You stand by me, Lorna, won't you?"
And so you're going to stand by him. You're going to forget all you ever learned about truth. You're going to lie.
But, Daddy, what else can I do?
I can't advise you, my darling. All I can do is remind you that you and I have always loved truth as much as we've loved each other. Are you going to change now?
And so Lorna finds herself in the corner of a triangle. The man she loves on one side, the father she loves on the other. But the invisible corner of the triangle is that mysterious thing called truth. We'll find out what Lorna Kittredge does when I return shortly with Act 2.
And now another tale of the ball and chain. At Kellogg's Special K.
Presents Overweight on an overnight train.
Is the seat taken?
Please, sit down. You have exceptional legs. But why is one of them attached to a ball and chain?
This ball and chain? It's a symbol.
Funny, I would have sworn it was a ball and chain.
I mean symbolic. Because carrying around a few extra pounds can be just like lugging around this ball and chain.
I see. May I suggest something?
Uh-huh.
Try a bowl of Special K skim milk, orange juice, and coffee. It's the Special K breakfast.
Will it make me lose weight?
No.
Oh.
You must also exercise and eat smart at every meal.
I see.
Do you know the Special K breakfast is less than 240 calories, 99% fat-free, and delicious?
No, but if you hum a few bars...
And that's another tale of the ball and chain.
Your happy ending could begin with the Kellogg's Special K breakfast.
That's Kellogg's Special K. Good night.
This is WOR New York, your Mystery Theater station.
No matter what you're saving for, that's what Suburban Savings for Suburban.
Suburban Savings offers you a regular savings account with flexibility. You can add any amount to your account whenever you wish. Withdraw whenever you want. Suburban Savings pays a 5.25% annual interest rate on regular savings paid quarterly, which earns an annual effective yield of 5.47%. Interest is compounded continuously from day of deposit to day of withdrawal, as long as $50 is maintained in the account to the end of the quarter. Come into Suburban Savings and open an account with flexibility. Our regular savings account in New Jersey at Bayonne, Edgewater, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Hackettstown, Morris Plains, Nutley, Paramus, and Sparta.
Ye shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Will that familiar saying work in the case of Mark Kramer? It may all depend on the outcome of the next conversation you hear in the home of Professor John Kitteridge and his daughter.
Lorna, may I come in?
Yes, Daddy.
Huh. All dressed already?
Yes. I know I don't have to leave for the county courthouse for another hour, but I was too nervous to just lie in bed.
Why don't you come downstairs and have some breakfast with me?
No, I couldn't. I feel too sick.
Oh, poor Kitty. You know, I haven't called you that since you were a little child. Or don't you remember me calling her that?
No, not really.
You see, before you were born, I wanted to name you Catherine. But your mother objected because she was certain you'd be nicknamed Kitty. Then you'd be Kitty Kitteridge. And she hated the sound of it.
You've told me the story before.
I know you're not in the mood for old family anecdotes.
All I can think about is that inquest this morning. I'm so frightened. My skin feels like ice.
Darling, you won't have to be frightened if you do what I said. It's only lying that makes us afraid.
Please don't talk about it. I have to lie for Mark. I love him. I'm going to marry him.
Do you think the others will lie? The bartender at that restaurant? What was the name of that again?
Bruno's? Yes. He'll defend Mark. I'm sure he will. They don't like trouble. They had some license problem last year. They won't want to admit that they served Mark so many drinks that he was hardly able to walk. To say nothing of drive.
Say. So you're the only one who has to lie.
Daddy, the woman is dead. Nothing will bring her back. Lies, truth, nothing. Who does it help if Mark goes to prison?
Yes. You're right, Precious. There's no profit in truth. None at all.
Then you agree with me?
No profit, Lorna. Only loss, maybe. But that's something you'll have to judge for yourself. You know my feeling about truth. You know what I've always taught you about it.
Yes. Dare to be true. Nothing can need a lie. The fault which needs it most grows too thereby.
You used to like that poem. Now you're quoting it with contempt.
Oh, Daddy, why can't you understand? Why do you have to be so demanding? Let me forget truth just this once.
Your mind is your own, Lorna.
Well, I want to do what's right.
Then do what you want to do. You're an adult now, independent of me. Lie if you want to. But don't look for my approval. And above all, don't ask for my blessing.
Daddy!
Let's have some quiet. The coroner's jury has to hear the testimony if they're going to judge it. Sergeant McKeon, was any investigation made of the skid marks at the scene of the accident with a view to determining the speed of the vehicle?
No, sir, there wasn't. The condition of the road and the rain we had that night, well, it was impossible to tell the difference between the skid marks and the tire treads. That's why no measurement was made.
It's been stated that the driver of the vehicle, Mark Kramer, had left the establishment called Bruno's shortly before the accident. Since Bruno's is in the business of serving hard liquor, among other things, did the police give Mr. Kramer a sobriety test?
No, sir, we didn't. You see, sir, we didn't know at the time where Mr. Kramer had been. All we knew was that Mrs. Moga was dead and Mr. Kramer didn't appear like he'd been drinking.
All right, Sergeant, you can step down.
Thank you.
The coroner's office calls Mr. Kramer to the stand, please. Mr. Kramer, this inquest isn't a trial. Our duty here is simply to determine the cause of death. But you must give your testimony under oath. Please raise your hand on the Bible.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, Mr. Kramer. Just tell us your story of what happened the night of the accident.
Well, Miss Kittredge and I left Bruno's about 9 that evening, about a half hour before the accident. I'd had one drink, a vodka martini. You can ask Mr. Bruno about that because he served me.
Go on.
When I reached Route 24, I decided to take the Ridge Road shortcut to town. I was traveling between 30 and 35 miles an hour, I'd say, and I remember slowing down when the rain started. I had my wipers going when I came over the rise of the hill, so my windshield was clear. But I still didn't see Mrs. Moger when she stepped out into the road directly in front of the car.
Were your lights on full beam?
Yes, sir, they were.
Why do you suppose Mrs. Moger didn't see them?
I don't really know. What I think is she was almost across the road when I came over the rise, and she panicked when she realized that a car was coming. She started back in the wrong direction, and that was when she stepped in front of the car.
Is that your entire testimony?
Yes, sir, it is.
Very well, Mr. Kramer. You can return to your seat. Will Miss Lorna Kittredge take the chair, please? Place your hand on the Bible, Miss Kittredge.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please speak up, Miss Kittredge.
I do.
Miss Kittredge, you were with Mr. Kramer on the night of the accident.
Yes.
You went with him to the place called Bruno's.
Yes, I did.
And did you have a drink that night?
Yes, I had a martini.
The same as Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
When Mr. Kramer's car approached Mrs. Moger's driveway, did you see the lady before the automobile struck her?
I'm not sure. I think I saw her for just a split second. And then the car hit her. It was all terribly unreal.
Were you aware of the speed you were traveling at? Miss Kittredge.
I'm not sure of the exact speed.
Mr. Kramer thinks it was between 30 and 35. Do you agree with that?
No.
What was that?
It couldn't have been that. It was more like 55 or 60.
Did you say 60, Miss Kittredge?
About that, yes.
Lorna, for God's sake.
I hope you've considered this reply, Miss Kittredge.
Yes, I've considered it. We were traveling at least that. I'd been looking at the speedometer only a few minutes before. I was complaining to Mark about his speed, but he wouldn't listen to me. He wasn't in any mood to listen. He was angry, and he was drunk.
Lorna!
Please, everybody, quiet now. Mr. Kramer, please take your seat.
It's the truth. The truth, I can't help myself. He was drinking. He had too many martinis, and he was drunk.
Are you telling us he had more than one drink?
He had 4. I know he did. And he drove like a madman. No matter how I tried to stop him, he never thought that woman would be on the road at that time of night. He wouldn't listen. I couldn't believe it was really happening. It was like hearing someone else say the words.
Please don't cry, Kitty.
I tried not to look at his face. I tried so hard not to see him, but I couldn't stop myself.
How can you blame yourself for telling the simple truth? How can you think it's wrong?
But don't you realize what'll happen to him, Daddy? He's going to be indicted. He may go to prison.
I'm sure Mr. Kramer will hire himself a very smart attorney.
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Oh, I can't see anyone now. I just can't.
Yes, of course. You go to your room and I'll answer it. Go on, darling. Go lie down.
Yes.
Oh,
you?
I want to see Lorna.
Mark, please listen to me. I know exactly how you're feeling at the moment.
Thanks for remembering my name, Professor. That must be the very first time.
I'm sure you realize that what Lorna did this morning was extremely difficult and painful for her. That it was an agonizing decision.
Only who made it?
Lorna's lying down right now. I suggest you try telephoning her later.
I'm not leaving until I see her.
I had hoped we wouldn't get violent about all this, Mark. Frankly, I don't think you're in a good position to commit any other rash actions.
Daddy, it's all right.
Lorna, I thought you were in your room.
I'll talk to Mark.
Very well. But don't ask me to leave, because I won't.
You don't have to leave, Professor. I'd like you to know this, too.
Know what?
What the town gossips are saying. Lorna, they're saying that we had some kind of fight. A lover's quarrel, and that you wanted to get back at me.
Oh, you know that's not so.
Yes, I know it. But the other explanation makes even less sense. That you just had to tell the truth.
Well, it wasn't easy for me. Lies would have been easier.
One small lie, Lorna. That was all you had to say. You're so afraid of hell that you wouldn't lie for me?
I can't expect you to understand.
But I do understand. Better than you do, maybe. It was your father's idea.
Now, just a moment, Kramer.
Well, you remember my last name, too. I think I made more of an impression on you than you were willing to admit.
There's no need to be nasty.
Lorna, you're so stuck on the truth. Tell it now. He told you what to do in that courtroom. Professor Kittredge's little girl always listens to Daddy, and she never lies.
Please, Mom.
He insisted that you tell the truth, didn't he? He gave you a lot of high-flown ethical reasons for telling the truth. Nothing but the truth. Every reason but the real one.
You're wrong. I made up my own mind.
Your father knew what would happen. It would split us apart, and that's what he really wanted, Lorna. That's the truth that he didn't mention.
I think that's quite enough. If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police.
Don't bother, Professor. You've done a very good job. On Lorna and on me.
Oh, Daddy. Daddy.
Kitty, don't. It's going to be all right.
How can it be? He hates me now. Mark hates me.
Things will change. You wait and see. He'll get himself a smart lawyer, and nothing will happen to him.
Mark Kramer, having been found guilty of the crime of manslaughter, it is my duty to sentence you to imprisonment for a period of not less than 1 year and not more than 5.
And so the truth has not set Mark Kramer free. It sent him to prison, where he'll have plenty of time to ponder the complexities of ethics, justice, and human nature. Or perhaps he'll ponder something else, like revenge. We'll find out when I return shortly with Act 3.
I'm Hy Brown, producer of Radio Mystery Theater, and this is the end of our last week of prize drawings. Just send us your name and address tonight to be eligible for one of 50 prizes: 2 AM/FM stereo phonos, 2 travel clock radios, and 46 anthologies of modern suspense. We've been most gratified by the program comments so far. So, if you have a chance to write, we hope you will. And let us know a bit about you, who you are, what you do, how old you are. But your name and address are enough. To Mystery Theater, Box 50, Radio City Station, New York, 10019. That's Box 50, Radio City Station, New York, 10019. Entries must be postmarked no later than tonight, the 26th. Offer good everywhere unless locally prohibited.
This is WOR New York, your station for the Mystery Theater.
An invitation. This is Peter Roberts. Join us Sunday morning, 8:15 to 10 here on WOR for Rambling with Roberts. 2 hours of music, specially selected for Sunday morning listening pleasure, along with bits of weather information, news headlines, bits of trivia, such as the fact that a man from Onowa, Iowa, received a patent for what he called Eskimo pie, which was ice cream coated with chocolate. It all happened in 1922. It may not seem like very much in the way of history, but it does take place, these little bits of trivia and information, on Rambling with Roberts. So, of a Sunday morning, make a note. 8:15 to 10, right here at 710 on your dial, come Rambling with Roberts. You don't have to give us an RSVP. Just be on hand. Thank you.
It's now 1 year later. Sad to say, Mark Kramer is still wearing prison gray. As for Professor Kitteridge, he's had problems too. A bad case of the gout caused cancellation of his European lecture tour. Even more disappointing, his daughter Lorna lost interest in working on her thesis and abandoned the idea of obtaining her doctorate. In fact, Lorna Kitteridge seems to have lost interest in life itself.
Lorna, you awake?
Yes, Daddy. I'm up.
Darling, it's almost noon. It's not like you to be in bed so late.
I just didn't feel like getting up.
Did you sleep badly again last night?
Last night, the night before that.
Oh, Lorna. If you don't see Dr. Isaacs voluntarily, I may have to drag you to his office.
You know there's nothing wrong with me.
What's all this paper for? All those little crumpled balls.
Can't you guess?
Oh, Lorna, no. You haven't been writing Mark again?
I keep thinking that I might hit on exactly the right words. The magic formula that would make him answer one letter. Just one letter.
You know that's not possible, darling. Face it, the man is filled with bitterness. He blames you for something he did to himself.
Probably never reads any of the letters I send him. Probably sees my handwriting and tears them up immediately.
It would be so much better if you forgot him, Lorna.
Do you know that I even thought of sending him a disguise letter? Making it look like some important document that he would have to read? Isn't that ridiculous?
What's ridiculous is the way you've tortured yourself over that man for so many months.
Who's tortured who, Daddy? Which one of us is really guilty?
Oh, Kitty.
Stop calling me that name. My name is Lorna. Can't you remember my name?
Darling, you're just not yourself.
Oh, is that why you can't remember me? Because I'm somebody else? Well, you may be right, Daddy. Every morning I look in the mirror and I can't recognize the woman I see.
Lorna, you're just not giving yourself a chance to forget. You'd start getting out into the world, start meeting new people. You become a hermit.
I thought you liked having me here, Daddy. I thought you couldn't live without my company.
I honestly believe you need medical attention. If not from Dr. Isaacs, then from somebody else.
You mean a psychiatrist, I suppose?
No, darling, no. Just someone who can help you get over this distorted guilt that you feel.
The only one who can do that is Mark. And he won't see me or write me or anything.
Lorna.
Oh, please go away. Please. I'm going to try to sleep. It's the only time I'm happy. When I'm asleep.
All right. Step right over here, Kramer.
Anything you say, guard.
Remember, visiting time is limited to 15 minutes.
Look, I don't want the 15 minutes. They're being forced on me.
Sit down and behave yourself.
Yes, sir. Anything you say, sir.
Well, no, Mark.
Make it fast, Professor. I've got important matters to take care of back in the shop. I'm making a very special license plate.
Mark, I know you resent the fact that I've forced this encounter. Took some doing, believe me.
Uh-huh. Why did you go to all the trouble?
Because it's a matter of health. Lorna's health.
She's pining away for me, is that it? Well, tell her to stop, Professor. My nights are filled with sweet dreams, and she is in none of them. You tell her that for me.
I want you to see her, Mark.
Oh, I wouldn't force that issue, Professor. I don't have anything nice to say to your daughter.
You misunderstood Lorna. Couldn't expect you to applaud what she did in court. But if you really thought about the ideals that motivated her...
Whose ideals? Yours or hers?
Do I have to separate them?
Yes. But you can't, Professor. Because she's your monster. You've got her all twisted up between her ethics and her instincts. I suppose you're proud of the result, but it's a fake.
There's nothing
There's nothing fake about her principles.
She doesn't have principles. All she has is you. Her shining example. She wants you to love and admire her, so she does what you expect. That's why Daddy's little girl always tells the truth.
She does tell the truth. Always.
And her father?
I abominate lies.
You won't even lie to yourself. Then tell me this. Weren't you happy when Lorna and I broke up? Didn't it save your happy home?
I can see that coming here was a mistake.
You're a hypocrite, Professor. This whole thing was your doing, and I'll never let you forget it.
Goodbye, Mark.
Wait a minute. There's something you should know.
What's that?
I'm being paroled next week. Tell that to your daughter. Maybe it'll improve her health.
Of course I'm pleased, Harold. It's just that I'd much rather see a new book of mine published than a new edition of an old book.
Well, you can't argue with success. People never seem to tire of the 7 Secrets of Shakespeare.
I suppose I shouldn't complain. It does buy the groceries.
Well, just cash the royalty checks and be happy. Now, tell me how Lorna's doing. Feeling any better?
Oh, still a bit run down, I guess.
Well, that's too bad. I suppose you know that young man, Kramer, that he's out of prison.
For about 2 months now, I gather.
He, hasn't been in touch with Lorna?
No, and I don't think he will be.
Funny thing is, he's been in touch with us.
With you? What's that before?
Well, actually, it seems he went to Merritt Bob's first.
My first publishers?
Yes, talked to everyone who would talk to him. Then he approached members of my own staff. He even tried to get an appointment with me, but I put him off.
What do you suppose he wants? He's an embittered young man, you know.
And I spoke to George Merritt. He didn't know about Lorna and this fella Kramer. He thought Kramer was an article writer looking for biographical material. George said that he seemed to know an awful lot about you already.
I don't much like the idea of someone like that snooping into my life.
Why do you suppose he's doing it?
Hard to say. Rancor, I suppose. Hopes he can find something unpleasant in my past. I'll get it, Lorna. Hello?
Professor Kittredge?
Yes?
Mark Kramer, Professor.
Oh. Yes, I was just speaking about you the other day with my publisher.
I'd like to see you, Professor, this evening, if that's possible.
See me? Or Lorna?
No, just you. If Lorna wants to be there, that's her business. Something tells me she'd rather stay away.
Can you give me some idea of why you want to see me?
You might say it's a business matter.
Who is it, Daddy?
What time would be good for you, Professor?
Make it, about 9.
I'll make it exactly 9.
Daddy, you look so strange. Who was that on the phone?
It was Mark Kramer, Lorna.
Mark?
He's asked me to see him at 9 tonight. I have no idea what he wants to say, but whatever it is, I'm sure it won't be anything pleasant.
I'd rather not be here.
I didn't think you would. Mark blames me for what happened in court, not you. He refuses to admit that it was your own love of truth.
My love of truth? Daddy, you never understood me yourself. How could you explain me to someone else? I didn't love truth. I loved Mark.
You did what you had to do. What your conscience told you to do.
My conscience? Is that what I was satisfying? That small little voice inside me?
It can be a loud voice, darling. A very compelling
But
voice.
I still hear it. It's still talking to me. And you know what it's saying? You fool. You fool, you fool.
Lorna.
I think I'll go out now, Daddy. Right now.
Good evening, Professor.
Hello, Mark. Come in.
Thank you. Nice of you to see me. I wasn't sure of my reception after the last time. I see you're using a cane these days, Professor.
Yes, a touch of gout. Mark, I hope you weren't
expecting to see Lorna. She's not here.
No, I didn't expect to see her.
Would you care to come to the point of this visit?
Yes, Professor. I'll come to the point. I've come to see you about truth.
Oh, must we, Mark? Really? I mean, these philosophical discussions are meat and drink to old campus fogies like me, but I'm rather tired of the subject right now. Very tired of it.
Frankly, I'm a little exhausted by it myself. I've just spent 2 months in search of it, and I didn't even know what I was looking for.
You've been digging up things about me, haven't you? I hope you enjoyed yourself.
No, I didn't. You see, I made the mistake of talking to your enemies. The publishers you dropped, the friends you no longer see, the scholars you had disputes with.
What did you get out of that?
Nothing. Your enemies didn't have the truth about you, Professor. Only your friends did. Like Avery Hayes.
Avery Hayes?
Oh, I'm glad to see you remember the name. Strange how few people do. Even though you dedicated your 4th, or was it your 5th book to him? George Merritt knew him, of course. Mr. Merritt called you Avery's benefactor. Said that Hayes was an alcoholic that you took care of for many years.
He was my friend.
Yes, he was a good friend, and you were good to him. That was one chapter of your past that you had every reason to be proud of, wasn't it?
Avery's been dead for 10 years. What did you want from him?
Nothing, Professor. I just thought a man like that deserved a little recognition, if only for his past association with you. So I talked to people who knew him, his old pals, his family. He still has a brother alive, you know, a crotchety old fellow in the terminal ward at the county hospital. His name's Ezra. Perfect name for the old boy. And you know what? He still has the junk Hayes left when he died. That pitiful collection of books and papers.
You don't expect me to believe that? About Avery's papers? Avery never kept anything, not a thing. He was a foolish, drunken old...
He was also brilliant, wasn't he? Went to the university on a scholarship. You only beat him out for top honors because of his drinking.
You're talking about 40 years
He was drunk, and he was dishonest, too, wasn't he, Professor? That was how he sustained that wild life of his, by selling his scholastic services to anybody who could pay for them.
It's not different today.
Yes. That's what Avery said in his letter. The one he wrote to a woman named Jean. I didn't know who Jean was or why Avery never mailed the letter, but there it was. Avery said he was cleaning up $100, $200 a month and would surely be able to pay back all he owed before the end of the semester. And then he mentioned the thesis. The big job he was doing, that he expected $300 for that job alone. You know which thesis I mean, Professor?
Please go. Get out of here. I've had enough of this lying filth.
The 7 Secrets of Shakespeare. Sounds like a mystery story, doesn't it? But it was quite a piece of work. And it became more than just a college thesis. It became a world-famous book. It made your reputation, Professor.
You're a liar. A liar. You know nothing about it.
You paid Avery for his work and put your name on it. You might have done as well yourself, but you were young and lazy, and you had the money to pay for it. Then you discovered how good it really was, and it was too late for both of you to change the course of history.
Get out of this house now.
Get out. I'm going, Professor. I just wanted you to hear this little story about truth. And also to tell you that I have Avery Hayes' letter.
What did you say?
I have his letter, Professor. It tells the whole story. Good night.
Mark!
You told me to go, and I'm going.
You filthy animal! Stop! Get rich! Kill you, monster! I'll kill you! Kill you, you animal!
Daddy!
Kill you!
Daddy!
Like a wild beast!
Oh, my God! What have you done?
Lorna!
Daddy!
Lorna! Oh, thank heaven you're here.
Oh,
Thank heaven.
look at his head. Oh, dear Lord.
You saw what happened.
Oh.
What the crazy fool did, he attacked me.
You killed him with your cane.
He attacked me, Lorna. You know how much he hated me? I had to defend myself.
No, I saw what happened. I saw you strike him from behind.
No, Kitty, no. He tried to kill me. That's why I hit him.
Daddy, I saw everything. You killed Mark. You did it deliberately, and that's the truth. You always taught me to tell the truth. It's the only important thing. The truth.
Oliver Wendell Holmes, Jr. said, "All I mean by truth is the road I can't help traveling." Well, Professor Kitteridge traveled his road, and despite his good intentions, it turned out to be the road to hell. I'll be back shortly.
Hello, this is Joe Franklin. Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, for the very latest in nostalgia, for the ultimate in remembering, please join with me on Saturday nights from 9:05 to 11 o'clock, where memories are truly happening right here over WOR Radio. It is my privilege to present radio's original Memory Lane program, but positively the original. And whether it's Al Jolson or Benny Goodman or Louis Armstrong or Eddie Cantor or Harry James or the Dorseys, Mario Lanza, Gene Krupa, the young Frank Sinatra, George M. Cohan, Bing Crosby, Bogart, Lombard, Cagney, and all those happy times of radio's comedy and drama and soap opera. We have it fascinatingly, and all the sounds are reproduced crystal clear Saturday nights from 9:05 till 11 over WOR Radio. Yours truly, Joe Franklin, hosting Memory Lane. Tune in.
If there is a moral to the story you've just heard, it's not that truth is so bad. But Samuel Butler said, truth should not be absolutely lost sight of, but it should not be talked about. And we promise that's our last word on the subject. Our cast included Agnes Moorehead, Mandel Kramer, Sandus Ortega, Ian Martin, and Dan Arco. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
I swear to Sam Hill, Ethan, you deliver.
After the 12th stroke of the hourglass clock's chime, there was no sound but the beat of the clock and my own heart. Everything else had stopped dead. My friend's mouth was frozen in the act of speaking, his hand poised over a chessman as though cast in bronze. Outside, like the old child's game, people had turned to statues. A car backing into a parking space was stopped in its tracks. For everyone else in the world, save only me and that damnable clock, time was standing still.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Pleasant dreams indeed. That was a pretty good one. I liked that story. That was a neat one. So I finished the one portrait that you guys watched, and I'm starting on a different painting here. Kind of felt a little bit Lovecraftian, I guess. So I'm figured, well, I'll see what I can do here. So far it's a little interesting. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with it. But yeah, we got the one portrait done. And I like how it came out. It was kind of a cool vampire-y sort of a thing, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. I do think, though, that for now, let me see here. I think that for now, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here and pass you guys over to another creator. Let's see, who is on right now? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, darling. Okay. I see No Rhythm is on too. Nori's always very supportive. Let's see. Yeah, why don't we do No Rhythm? He's always a lot of fun. There we go. I think I got it typed in correctly. Okay, yeah. So I think that we'll go ahead and do that. We'll raid out to No Rhythm and see what he's up to. He is, I think, doing Valheim right now. So I know that a lot of our viewers also like doing Valheim stuff. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and do that. But I do want to thank you guys for being here with us tonight. It's been a very interesting time, to say the least, and I'm probably going to be back on tomorrow. I may even be back on later on this evening. It just kind of depends on the scope of things. I'm going to save the progress of what we've got going on here and continue it probably later on. So if I don't continue it tonight, I probably will tomorrow. And either way, when I do continue it, I will stream it out. So, because I'm enjoying kind of sharing these art streams like this and having fun with it, and I hope that you guys are too. So, yeah. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and raid out to No Rhythm, and I hope that you guys will give him a lot of support too. He's very, very supportive of everybody. Like he's an amazing guy. A lot of fun. He's also got a pretty good voice too, so I hope that you guys will enjoy being over there with him. But in the meantime, I hope that you guys are well. I hope that you guys will keep safe out there and have fun. Remember, no matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, you are worthy of being loved, and please do not let anybody ever tell you any different. And yeah, until next time, I love you all. I'll talk to you again soon.
Incoming customer detected.
Keep your eyes open, boys.
We need to have a serious talk.